Hi, I'm Dr. John Young with Young Foundational Health Center here in Largo, Florida, a medical doctor who we do more, in other words, we're trying to get to the root of the cause of disease. And we use drugs when we need them, but we find we don't need them a lot of the times, and trying to get to the root of the problem. And with that in mind, we've started looking at this area of CardioRetinometry. And you can Google it, RETINOMETRY, I think you spell it. Never was that good at spelling. And years ago, I was thinking, we did a lot of chelation. We still do a lot of chelation in our office. But we're talking about, you know, when you go to the doctor and they do a cardiac cath and say you have all this plaque in your coronary arteries, and they'll do stents or whatever. But I was always thinking, but isn't that really going on everywhere else in the body? And no one seemed to take any interest in this. And as I started reading on this subject, I read about people that started looking, had that same idea, and started looking at the retinas and discovered about a 98% correlation between what they saw in the retina and what they saw in the coronary arteries when it came to atherosclerosis, lipid blockage in the arteries. And then we started looking at some of the literature, looking at the repairing of the coronary artery. You know, everybody's talking about, listen, we're going to put you on a cholesterol-lowering drug, a statin drug. And if you really look at the studies, the results haven't been that great. We still find that coronary artery disease is right there at the top when it comes to death here in the Western world, here in the US. So using the retina, the picture of the retina, and you can go to LensCraft or anywhere, I think some of them they charge 30, 40 bucks to take a picture of the retinal arteries in the back of the eye, and you can actually see those fat deposits in the arteries. Now, how do those form? If you go back to basic physiology or biochemistry, I'm sure most of you out there, when you're learning to ride a bike when you're 5 or 6 years old, you would fall and skin your knees. Here you are at 50 or 60 and those scabs are probably long gone because the body could heal its injury. And the same thing in the coronary arteries or anywhere in the body, the intimal or the lining inside the artery, it's a high pressure environment. The blood pressure is pushing against the artery always. And so you'll get little breaks or slits, cracks in the artery wall. And so the body says, hey, John, if we don't deal with these cracks, the whole artery is going to split and you're going to die. So the body takes cholesterol and forms a patch like a Band-Aid. And that is great. And then here's the key. Because the body has the ability to heal. So the body takes vitamin C and it makes those collagen bonds tighter and you heal the artery. When the artery is healed, the body signals and it dissolves away the plaque. This is the way it is in all over the body. So it's interesting, in animals, they have the ability to make vitamin C. You don't see coronary artery disease in animals that make vitamin C. The other thing is that coronary artery and all the arteries, there's 2 amino acids that make up that wall. It's proline and lysine. So what scientists have been doing now is they've been giving proline and lysine. I use 5 grams of lysine and 2 grams of proline a day, along with some studies say 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C a day. Others say 4 to 8 grams of vitamin C a day. I go with whatever the body can tolerate. And what happens is it takes about 4 months, but you can start to see the plaque go away in over half the patients. In some of the studies, it's probably around 60% of the patients, you actually, when you go back and look at that retinal artery again, which they have correlated with the coronary arteries, you can see the plaque disappear both in the retina, and you know that's going on in the coronary arteries. This idea that, hey, there's nothing you can do. If you find out that you have plaque in your arteries, there's a ton of things you can do, and it's not with a statin drug. Going back to the basics, what we're finding, and as you do research on this subject, you're going to find that it goes back to basics. Proline, lysine, and vitamin C is the perfect combination to really make a huge difference in the buildup of plaque in your body. I always get very nervous, being the creationist that I am, that when people want to give someone let's say a drug like a statin drug to stop a process that God's designed the body to use since we were first formed, of making cholesterol, because cholesterol is used to repair. And now, modern medicine is saying stop the production of cholesterol. Well, there's a lot of problems when you do that over long periods of time. So it's going back to really the biochemistry of really the arteries, and realizing that lysine, proline, and vitamin C have a lot to say with whether that artery heals or not. And it's something you may want to look up, do a little research, CardioRetinometry. But we've been very pleased with what's happening with our patients in our practice. And yes, you can do something to keep your arteries, even at 90 years old, clean as a whistle.